Let's start the webcam. All right, so we're myAVID Portfolio 2, student number 1. Okay, you have a cover page for your first page, and then your second page will be your table of contents, breaking down what your portfolio consists of, introduction, first project, our avatar groups, Cornell Notes on Earth, Costas's levels of questioning, tutorials, learning styles, and POC presentation, clay marble, college presentations, and a reflection to close out. Introduction. This year in AVID was a crazy experience. For the majority of the school year, we did things digitally because of distance learning and COVID-19. Even though it was hard, I still got through the year and had fun. From this class, I learned to understand things easier. I made friends and learned to collaborate with them as a group. In this class, we performed skits, tutorials, and presentations virtually. We learned to take Cornell notes in our classes to help us understand the topic we are learning. I learned what my learning style is and made a project using my learning style. We also did some reading in AVID. We read the book Clay Marble by Min Fong Ho. The book was based on the Cambodian Civil War. We finally came back to school and did some work on paper. At school, we did college presentations and assignments using procon.org. I think this year in AVID was a hectic yet very fun and awesome experience. First project. The first project we did was the Book of Questions. Even though we were in distance learning, Mr. Colbert still had ideas for us to do a project on paper. We would have our paper and make a book. Then we would write down questions that couldn't be answered, such as who made Earth or why do we have dreams? We would draw pictures to match the question and color them to make it look nice. This project was given to us to get us in a creative mindset. Nice. The project was inspired by Pablo Neruda's book, The Book of Questions. From this project, I learned to be curious about things and ask questions. It put me in a creative mindset. When we were finished with this project, we would have to go to the school's office and turn it in for Mr. Cobelt. The book would be in his mailbox, so he would be able to pick it up, to look at it, and give us a grade. Our avatar groups. Our theme for the school year was anime. The anime we had as our theme was Avatar, The Last Airbender. We were put into different groups based on different elements. I was put into the Earth Kingdom group. The project we did as a group was to make a Google slide presentation on different aspects of the Earth since we were the Earth Kingdom group. Okay? This included rocks, earthquakes, volcanoes, landscapes, and more. You guys remember that, and I'll move forward. Cornell Notes. In AVID, I learned to take Cornell Notes in my classes to help me understand the topic we are learning in our class. We took Cornell Notes on different topics in AVID. We were also introduced to Cornell Note review documents and the STAR method. Boom, and you guys know. Examples of Cornell Notes. First example was the Earth Kingdom. How much of Earth is volcanic? 80% of the Earth is volcanic. Wow. And of course, you guys had the three most common rock types and all of that. Costas levels of questioning. Before we started the tutorials, we learned about the different levels of questioning. We learned about Costas levels of questioning. Costas levels of questioning is what type of questions people ask. What is a level 1 question? A level 1 question is to identify something by doing research. It's a right there question, right on the paper. A level 2 question is to process the information. And a level 3 question is to apply information with evidence to prove your answer. Okay, examples. Level 1, what is a molecule? Level 2, how do molecules move in different forms? Level 3, would molecules move differently if you transfer energy out of the substance? Tutorials. Tutorials were done digitally on Zoom. Mr. Colbert would invite tutors to join the Zoom and let them listen to our tutorials so they can help us understand our point of confusion. Before we do our tutorials, Mr. Colbert assigns a document with the TRF format that helps us with our tutorial. We would write down our point of confusion and the things we knew about it. Okay, and you guys know exactly how to do the tutorials. Learning styles and POC presentations. We learned about different types of learning styles in AVID. We learned about visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learning styles. We took a small quiz that asked us questions and determined our learning styles. Da, 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 da. Play Marble. This year in AVID, we read the book Play Marble by Min Fong Ho. We finished the book right before Cambodian New Year's because this book was based on the Cambodian Civil War. It was about a girl named Dora who had to leave her home because of the war. She got separated from her family and she had to find her family. The thing that inspired her to have courage was a magic clay marble that John made for her. John had said that the clay marble was to give her strength and courage on her journey for finding her family, but she soon realized that the courage and strength she had wasn't from the marble, it was from herself. It was a really good book and was perfect to read right before Cambodian New Year's. College presentations. Which college did you have? We had a long term substitute. While Mr. Cobalt was gone, our substitute teacher, Mr. Curl, wanted us to do some AVID related college assignments. So we assigned everyone to a specific college in California for everyone to research and do a presentation on it. The college I did research on was California State University, Fresno. From this assignment, I was introduced to many different college universities that are in California. Each college had different clubs, majors, and programs. It gave me ideas for colleges I can go to when I'm older. Reflection. From my AVID experience, I learned many different things. I learned how to collaborate with a group, write Cornell notes, costless levels of questioning, perform tutorials, and so much more. Since most of this year was in distance learning, it was hard, but I made it through the year and had fun. This class put me in an inquisitive and more creative mindset. Yes, that's what I wanted. It also helped me prepare for and ace my exams. Yes, that's also what I wanted. This class gave me ideas of what universities I can go to once I graduate high school and throughout the school year. I made some new friends. Yes. Without Abbott, I probably wouldn't have learned about all these things I learned in this class. This class helped me prepare for eighth grade. This year in Avid was a hectic yet awesome experience. Great. Student two, introduction. This year's AVID was an interesting experience. If I remember correctly, we started the year with the book of questions and Cornell notes in the middle of the year. We broke into breakout groups, and since our theme this year was Avatar, The Last Airbender, each group had their own respective element. I was part of the Earth Kingdom, and our first group project was slides about our element. I still think our slides were the plainest, yet full of facts. We then started on tutorials where we exposed ourselves to our group so that they could help us. Near the end, we found our learning style, mine being visual, and again, broke into groups. Avid during this unusual time helped me get along better with my classmates than in other classes. These activities we're done have done has helped me understand better, whether in myself or in work. Yeah, that's good. Learning to relate to your peers is very important. It's something that you should do in Avid. The book of questions was a project which had us write many questions without much of an answer to it. Right? So you guys did that. Student three, Cornell notes. The first ever Cornell note I did was about paradoxes. The first question was, what is a paradox? The answer was A, a seemingly absurd or self contradictory statement or proposition that, when investigated or explained, may prove to be well founded or true. The second question was, list the five examples of paradox. The answers were 2A, the sentence is false, is a paradox. B, I am a liar. It is then argued that if the statement is true, then he is telling the truth and therefore it's not a liar. C, it is an interesting paradox that drinking a lot of water can often make you thirsty. D, not having fashion is a fashion. That's a paradox. E, she is a paradox. You would not expect her, a San Franciscan, to be a Dallas Cowboy fan. All right. My last Cornell note I did in AVID was about history. The first question was, what does the word revolution mean to you? My answer to the question was, to me, revolution is a movement or a fight for justice. And then it goes on. Student number 4, my AVID portfolio 2021. This year in AVID was a great one. It broadened my knowledge on many subjects. I had no idea about paradoxes, tutorials, Cornell notes, and many other concepts that have helped me in almost every single one of my classes. I'd say the most important thing that helped me out in my classes were Cornell notes, which helped me to stay organized so I don't lose track of things when doing my homework or on assignments in class. We also had some fun in Avid. Our theme for this year was Avatar, the last airbender, which I thought no one would ever mention in school, including my teacher. We watched episodes of ATLA almost every week and had some cahoots on it, assignments, and even a project where I met some new friends and learned some new things. So, what was the theme of Avatar? I wanted to get into that, but I couldn't because, again, I had to go for a while. But yeah, what do you think is the theme of Avatar? I would say it was the best assignment this year in Avid. Some vital points we learned in Avid was to research, analyze, improve, which was so helpful. And if you think about it, those three words can kind of relate towards the Cornell note method, which is a great way to revise your notes. Be organized and to note key ideas to create questions. And while talking about that, I figured out what learning style works best for me, which is digital. Digital! I'm great at using devices to do my work, mostly because I'm used to it and I know my way around digitally. I'm not great hands on. Tutorials are a way to connect with people while solving problems at the same time. The student presenter presents their question to his or her group. The group of students are required to work together to help the presenter understand or have a better sense of what the problem is. The tutor is responsible for advising the collaboration of the group of students. The tutors are very nice and are helpful to have. Tutorials were a very important aspect to me this year. I'm certain that everything I've learned in AVID will prove to be very useful to me in 8th grade and maybe even in grades after that. Awesome. Great job.